And from that point, trust is built. And now I can get into more product knowledge. You've talked a little bit. You probably have had a little bit of rapport and everything. But when it's time to get down to business, I spend about 2 minutes on the importance of that background check. And when I do that, it's absolutely a deal maker. And what that means to them, and it gets in their mind, wow, I'm dealing with a whole higher caliber of person here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm excited for today's interview. One of my buddies out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, that is doing an unbelievable thing for the insurance industry and actually helping every agent sell more policies and get more credibility in the home or through Zoom or over the phone. Even though you may not be a part of his organization, he can still help you increase your closing rate. I can promise you, today's specific interview and episode will be super impactful for you. Okay, we're going to be talking about a new organization called wealth-warriors.org, really Wealth Warriors, but the domain is wealth-warriors.org. So if you're ever curious about that, while we're going through this, go to wealth-warriors.org. The link will be below so that you can check that out. Khris, for those that don't know what Wealth Warriors is, what is it?
Well, thanks for having me, Cody, man. This is awesome. I appreciate your time. Wealth Warriors is very simply a 501c3 nonprofit, veteran-owned company that does military-grade background checks on people who handle customers, clients' money. So this could be obviously the entire insurance industry, both home, auto, health, life, annuity. Doesn't matter what you do inside those. Obviously, we do accountants, CPAs, and attorneys, along with wealth managers. So any of those categories have the availability of being a member. Now, it's designed specifically to do two things. Number one, give the client a nice, comfortable trust situation to where they're coming into a more relaxed atmosphere. The number one thing in any sales organization, whether you're selling yourself as an attorney or you're selling yourself as an insurance agent over the phone or in person, it boils down to trust, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does, man. Totally.
I mean, the first thing we have to get through is trust. So what we have created, I actually have a history in the military a little bit that brings a lot of that excellence forward. And what we created was the ability to background check an individual, put them on the website as a third-party recognition. That third-party recognition now gives that credibility to that agent. Now, we're not looking for all the agents in the world. We're really looking for the top 10% in their industry, and that's really, all the guys that deal with you, Cody. So, which is a great opportunity for us.
We can at least bring the top 8%. I don't know about the top 10, but for sure the top 8, right?
Right.
Well, also too, for those who don't know Khris, him and his friend and business partner Phil Pickle own Anchor Financial Group in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They do really well. They have the insurance background to go with this, so that they understand this. They use this, it establishes credibility, and so it makes sense. They did. I mean, I don't know. You guys did 40 million and almost 40 million annuities last year, and $500,000 or $1 million in life, right? Some crazy numbers.
Right. Under our own pen. Now, of course, our agency did quite a bit more, but just under our own pen, Phil and I did close to 40 million last year. Yeah. We're on pace to probably be about 50% higher than that this year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. I love it. Okay. So why is this Wealth Warriors credibility piece for agents so important? What does that mean? So obviously you're selling a bunch of insurance. Maybe they're new, or they're selling a bunch of insurance, but they just want something to establish some trust faster, some credibility. obviously the Wealth Warriors organization is a nonprofit. So think about like, what does that do? So they're getting a certificate. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I've got one of the certificates here. You can see it.
Yeah.
That certificate right there is in every packet that I give a client. We also have a link that we send a client. Like for instance, if you're on the phone with, if you're a final expense agent or a Medicare agent, and you're doing either business over the phone or you're doing business in person, either way, but you can send a link directly to their cell phone that they can click on and takes you directly to their profile on our website. So they can see testimonials, they can see all the different things that they do. If they do Medicare, if they do annuities, if they do life, all that will be listed under their profile. So it's actually very eye-opening, because what it also helps with is you may be calling for final expense, for instance, but you do Medicare, you may do IULs, overfunded IULs, you might do a lot of different things in the insurance industry. But the client won't know that until they go to your profile page, and it gives you an opportunity to have a cross-sell situation really fast.
Yes, it makes sense too when you think about it too, because like trust in general is hard to gain, especially with a new prospect. Like you guys are doing a lot. You've been doing this a long time. Like you understand how to gain trust. You're going to do 60 million this year, like in annuities, and which is huge. When you think about that, like what other, like obviously they need to go to wealth-warriors.org. They need to really learn more about how they can actually use the certificate and being a part of the organization to help them establish credibility. Now, what if an agent goes, and I think one question will be, well, what if I don't pass the background?
That's a good question. I would say probably 3 out of every 10 people that will apply to Wealth Warriors will not pass the background information.
Wow.
What's really wild in our industry, now I'll give you some background as the reasons why I started this. I came from a kind of I've had my ears boxed. I've been in this business now 20 years, and Phil and I have been together for quite some time of that. He's been in the business 30 years. So together we have about 50 years of experience, and we've seen a lot. We've done a lot, like the old farmers. We've seen it all because whatever. But the idea is to understand, we've had agents that work for our organization that turned out to be a pedophile. They passed through the insurance commissioner's background checks. All that stuff, became an agent of ours, did rather well. He had some other real weird things go on. We ended up letting him go. Thank God, because he was later busted for child pornography. I mean, had we done the background check ourselves and not relied on the state from an agency standpoint, if I would have said, okay, become a Wealth Warriors member, he would not have been able to pass that background check. Therefore, I don't want him for my agency as a representative of my company. So there's another situation where and I think you know about this, we've talked about this a little bit, we had a $2 million, yes, I said $2 million chargeback.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So in a $2 million chargeback, a lot of that responsibility was ours. And that individual ended up having a lot of domestic abuse issues. Again, made it through the background check of the state. And this is not just picking on Oklahoma. This is every state. I mean, I have talked to so many agents saying, Khris, I've been in this business only 3 years, and I can name 5 people that have no business having their life insurance or health insurance license to help other people or to handle people's money. In both of those situations, Wealth Warriors would have curbed that pain. We would not have had any of that situation go on. And one of the big reasons and the driving force behind Wealth Warriors is protecting the agency from those agents that you hire that may be that fireball guy, but you just don't know until you know. And now, is it going to curb every situation for somebody doing something bad? But no. We want to be able to do as much due diligence as we can to protect our agencies, to protect our good name, because we've put our blood, sweat, and tears into our businesses. And the last thing we want is some silly reprobate coming in and messing things up or staining our record.
Yes, that's so good. I've actually got 2 ideas based on what you're saying that I want to share with you after we get off, because this is just powerful. Like I don't know, my brain's always just racing, but I think about this, and I think about number one, $2 million in chargebacks. Like, you guys listening, like, can you fathom that, right? Like, what kind of detrimental blow that would be to your team and your agency? And what a lot of people are just hiring people because they have a pulse and they need their team to grow and premium to grow. Well, you need good extensions of you. Like, you don't want everyone. Khris and Phil have been through this. Like, you don't want everyone. You don't need everyone. You really want them to be an extension of you. You know, your reputation's important. Your brand's important. How they interact with clients is important. And so to make sure that they're not just, have a pulse and then get a license, fantastic. Like, but this is an extra credibility piece that makes a lot of sense when you're adding people to your team as agency owners. What else can agents do in general? Obviously, they're going to become part of Wealth Warriors to make sure that they have that extra piece of credibility. What are some other things that y'all do from credibility and trust standpoint to do that much volume?
So really, I have two main things, and I'll go ahead and share this with you. This is typically a video that I put out once they become a member. And for those special people that actually tune into your show, I'm going to just go ahead and give you those openings. Now, typically what I'll do, I'll give you my opening with every client. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting down with a Medicare client. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting down with a life insurance, an annuity. It doesn't matter. This can fall into that category, especially in this industry. That's our first hurdle, is our trust barrier. So what I typically will open with is I'll tell them a little bit about our industry and what we do. And then I'll go into, now I'm a member of the Wealth Warriors Foundation, and I'm actually a National Ethics Certificate holder. Do you know what that means, Mr. and Mrs. Client? They'll be like, no, I have no idea. Well, what that basically means to you is that I have actually done the due diligence on myself by a third-party organization that is designed to do background checks every single year on your behalf. So what that means to you is, if I step out of line, or if I have 5 DUIs, or I'm a pedophile, or if I have had domestic abuse, it's all going to show up in that record, and I will not be able to continue my membership. And as a member in good standing and my military background, I have brought those forward in excellence for my clients. Now, what that also means to you is there's a certificate here, and there's a website that you can go to, and that website, you can check my activity on a daily basis or an annual basis, however you prefer, to see that I am an active member in good standing. Now, what I'll do from there is say two things. Now, there's two reasons. I have over 3,000 clients. So there's only really two main things that I have rules for bringing on new clients. Number one, we have to get along. We have to like each other. I don't want you to see me at Walmart and run the other way. I don't want to have to see you and me run the other way. We want to get along. I've been doing this too long to be doing business with people I don't like. And so we have to like each other. Wouldn't you agree? And they typically say, well, yeah, of course. And the second one is I have to be able to make a significant difference. If I cannot make a significant difference, I may just give you a few pointers and send you on your way. But if I can make a significant difference, would you agree that that was probably something you're going to want to know what I can do to make that significant difference, wouldn't you? And from that point, trust is built. And now I can get into more product knowledge. You've talked a little bit. You probably have had a little bit of rapport and everything. But when it's time to get down to business, I spend about 2 minutes on the importance of that background check. And when I do that, it's absolutely a deal maker. And what that means to them, and it gets in their mind, wow, I'm dealing with a whole higher caliber of person here. And what it also keeps from is the person coming behind you saying, oh, I can do better and blah, 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 blah. Well, we know that we sell on value, not price. Yeah. Any good agent's going to sell on value. They're going to bring the emotion. They're going to bring the passion. They're going to bring what they believe in to the table. When that happens, now all they're going to do is they're going to take the information that person might get, and they're going to bring it back to me and say, hey, this guy was saying this. Well, let me ask you this. Did he show you his Wealth Warriors membership? Well, as a matter of fact, he didn't. Well, it's probably because he either doesn't know about us, or he does not have that due diligence that he wants to do on himself for you. I've gone out of my way for that. And you know that, Mr. and Mrs. Client. So the big thing is to make sure that we look at this policy. If it is better, hey, I'll do the paperwork for you. But if it isn't, we want to make sure we have reasons for that. Wouldn't you agree? And they'll be like, yeah, absolutely. So it gives you that opportunity to have that conversation.
Yes.
Whereas they might just go with that other guy and you get left in dust and never hear anything else about it. So it gives you that one more connection to hold on to that business. Work hard for the business. We want to make sure no one comes behind us and has something to jerk something out, the rug out from underneath us.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. Like that, you're giving really good advice an agent can go use of how you're not only establishing trust in multiple different ways that you just gave away, which was amazing, by the way. So thank you. Yeah. But you're also showing how you establish even more than just trust and credibility. You're establishing an experience in the industry. You're establishing control in a way by the way that you're going about the conversation and how they're responding. I mean, they're going to naturally, majority are going to let their guard down and really want to hear what you have to say and what you can do. You know, that's super powerful.
Yeah, it is. And the referrals that you get from it are tremendous. I would say that probably half the business that we did last year was referral. This year, I would say probably maybe a third. It's a little lower this year, but still the referral basis. I mean, that's leads you don't have to buy. Those are free. As far as ROI, it's tremendous. So it gives you that step up where others can't reach it.
Totally. For those that aren't doing 7 figures in commissions on their own pen, what advice would you give on like what you're doing that's working so well outside just building rapport, but maybe like, you know, getting in front of people and scaling this thing like you'll have? What advice would you give to the agent that wants to wake up and be Khris Bryan and Phil Pickle one day as an agency owner, you know?
I have to be honest with you, Cody, that I have drawn so much from you, from other mentors that have chosen. And, you know, I'm 20 years older than you.
Yeah.
Put your pride on a shelf and realize that people are smart and draw. I try to be the dumbest guy in the room. I want to be surrounded by those smart people because that elevates me. Mentorship is so absolutely important in this industry, in any industry really, but in this industry in particular, because the learning curve can be so large, and especially when you get into more advanced markets such as estate planning and things like that we do. I didn't start out there. I started out just doing health insurance when I first got out of the Navy, directly into this business. And I started doing health insurance. I had one product. I had an area that was 2.5 hours away. I had no mentor. I had very little leads. I had all these things that were not in my favor. But I don't quit easily, as you know about me. Mm-hmm. I don't quit easily. And the idea is to incorporate the mentorship, incorporate the systems, incorporate the leads, get involved with people who know what they're doing already. Roger Short's organization, they do a lot of final expense. We decided to open a whole nother wing of final expense insurance. Yes. Based on his mentorship. Put your pride aside, get involved with the people that are doing it, and you will rise to it. Now, here's something that I know, and I know this from military to now. Humans do not typically rise to the occasion. They typically fall to their level of preparedness. If you go to a meeting that you're not prepared for, that you don't know your stuff, that you don't know how you're going to have a conversation, or you can't relate to people and you put no practice into relating to people, because that's really all sales is, right? Relating to people.
Yes.
If you have no ability to do that, then you are not going to win. So you have to prepare yourself. You can't just say, I'm just going to throw myself into the situation and see how it works. No, typically that ends badly, as you know. I mean,
Yeah.
You didn't start out the way you are now.
True.
You started out small and you grew, and your knowledge base grew. And that's so absolutely critical in growing and scaling and being able to lead a team and leadership and all that, because I didn't learn to be a leader by just being thrust into a leadership position. Although I was thrust into a leadership position, and I learned the hard way what not to do and what to do. But learning from others' mistakes is something. If I could go back 20 years in this business, or really all the way back to my Navy career in the beginning, and have some better training on what it was like to be a leader, what it was like to scale, what it was like to do all the different things. Oh my gosh, if we could go back in time and know what we know now, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love it. What can they do? So good, so valuable, man. I also want you guys to stop and make sure that not only do you check out Wealth Warriors, but you leave some comments and give Khris some love below for sharing so many nuggets. How would you like to finish this? Where can they go? What do they need to do? What steps they need to take to learn more about Wealth Warriors so that they can also have a certificate to separate themselves from other insurance agents that don't?
I think we have to go back in time a little bit before that in order to understand really the type of person that I'm looking for as a member of Wealth Warriors. It doesn't matter if you've been in this business a week. It doesn't matter if you've been in this business 20 years. This will help you gain credibility. So think of it this way: the Better Business Bureau, the Angie's List, the Home Advisor, all rolled into one that does background checks on everybody. Now, every person, now this is an interesting fact, every person that did business on Angie's List years ago, of course, she sold it and all that kind of stuff, but years ago when she very first got started, those companies are mega companies now based on how many people they got based off that. This is what we're creating it, but we're creating it for the financial industry. We're not creating it for somebody being a plumber or any of this other stuff. This is designed specifically around the insurance industry. Well, that comes back to my core values in military. When I got into the military, I went through boot camp. I went through basic underwater demolition school. I was wanting to be a SEAL. My eardrums blew in the dive phase of basic underwater demolition school. But what I learned through all that, and what I battled in, having that regret of not going back and trying and not doing this and doing that. Regret is way more powerful than fear. You can get past fear. Regret is something you can never get back. So when you're fighting day in and day out, because this business is one of those businesses I probably quit 1,000 times, but I come back in the next morning. So, you just keep battling. And that's the part of being 8%, right? Yeah. So in SEAL training, there was a 20% made it, 80% washout rate. In this industry, it's a 92% washout rate. Now, obviously, we're trying to change that, right? But the idea is the same, right? There's more of a washout rate in this industry than there is in the SEAL training. Why is that? Because it's mental. It messes with you mentally. So what we have to do is put tools in our toolbox consistently to be able to combat those things and keep things positive, going the right direction, and keep that momentum going the right direction.
Yeah, I love it, buddy. This has been phenomenal. Then go to wealth-warriors.org.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wealth-warriors.org. We'll put the link below. Check that out so you can learn how you can also give to a nonprofit organization, right? That's benefiting military veterans.
Correct. Yeah, we actually take a portion of all of our membership fees that go to help prevent veteran suicide. So that's a huge part of what Wealth Warriors is about. But the design again is to build the trust. It's designed for the top 10% agents. We highlight you on the website. This way the clients don't shop you, trying to keep that down to a minimum, accelerates the process of bringing on new clients, increases your exposure to target clients in your city, and no likelihood of someone stealing your client. and it takes your business to the next level. So the idea is, whether you're an agency owner or you're just the individual guy, it doesn't matter. That agency owner has to do a background check just like an individual would be if they're going to be a member. There's no agency. This is all individual background. So it's all about you. And I love that, to where you are individualized as a person in this business.
Yes, I love it. So make sure you stop, go to wealth-warriors.org, check that out, establish some credibility in the business, and separate yourself apart. Khris, thank you for your time, buddy. Appreciate what you're doing. Congrats on all the success, and excited to see how many agents really take this seriously, because they really should. So appreciate your time. Great job.
Thank you, Cody. I appreciate it. Thank you for all you do for the industry. It's absolutely phenomenal, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Wealth-warriors.org. See you guys soon.
I thought I was a mediocre insurance sales guy. And because I was challenged and there was a spark on my second phone call, was able to rock a presentation, have the confidence to take over the world, and realize, you know what? I'm going to build a massive call center. Like,